Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's Sunday preview. This video is sponsored by the Game Bunker. More on that later. Alright, so before we jump right in with the Sunday preview, just want to say Adepticon was a ton of fun, and I will for sure be doing an Adepticon recap video. It was absolutely amazing to meet so many awesome people, and I will definitely be going back next year. Sunday preview, Ancient Kingdoms Rise. Two ancient kingdoms are roused this week. The High Elf realms are one of the most powerful forces in the old world, provoked into defending their holdings from the renewed ravages of chaos. Meanwhile, spectacles rumble under the earth shifts in Age of Sigmar as the Barrow Kingdoms rise in the baths of the Soulblight Gravelords. Let's dig in. So there is a little video right here, but we're going to take a look at the full article. So first we have for Age of Sigmar, the new Deathrattle Army Set, and this is going to have the battletome and cards inside, and it is loaded with all new miniatures. The Soulblight Gravelords have reanimated with pitiless skeleton hosts of the Barrow Kingdoms. Deathless vassals whose monarchs pledge their eternal servitude in vain effort to escape their own mortality. They arrive in the Deathrattle Army Set, with 26 new miniatures, a battletome, and a set of war scroll cards, which is only available while stocks last. An imperious White King on skeletal steed leads the Legion, while you can also build him as a lesser White Lord. He leads a unit of 5 mighty Barrow Knights and 20 Barrow Guard, an elite retinue committed to an early grave by their liege. Alright, so the white on skeletal steed is absolutely amazing, and then you have the option also to build him as the lesser White Lord, and then we have the brand new Barrow Knights, the new cavalry, and then we're going to have 2 boxes of 10 of the Barrow Guard, who are essentially replacing the old Crypt Guard. So this is going to go along nicely if you already have a bunch of like the older models, stuff from like Cursed City, regular skeletons, wolves, all that good stuff. And then we know also there's like dragons and some other vampire characters coming, so definitely excited for this. So here we have a close-up of the White Lord, and I really like the base on this guy. Absolutely awesome. Games Workshop has killed it with the tactical rock, and then the amazing detail on the actual horse itself, and then of course the White Lord rider. And then next we have the new knights, and we see like the standard musician, and then of course like the optional lances, or we see the leader with the sword. Very cool, amazing detail. And then we have the Barrow Guard. So again, really nice looking models right here. Again, we see like the musician, we see the standard bearer, and then we have like the little plume on top of the champion's head. And then these are excellent looking models. They don't look nearly as spindly as the previous like skeletons that came out for the set, as these guys are a little more heavily armored. And then of course they have like the typical Crypt Guard style like winged helms. Really great models right here. Definitely super excited for this box set. I do think it's going to be very popular. This box set contains a special edition of the battletome, Soulblight Gravelords, a 128-page book fronted with unique art. It contains everything you need to know about the mercurial vampires of the mortal realms, combined with art, miniature photography, and rules for taking them to the tabletop. So beautiful art on the cover right here. These special editions are always really nice. And then this will be first access to the new battletome and the new rules. And then also included in the set, there's a set of 55 war scroll cards covering your units, faction rules, regiments, and armies of renown, and a new Tomb Host Spearhead. This box is one of the 2 places to acquire these cards. They will also be available in the forthcoming Gamers Edition of the Battletome, available while stocks last. So very cool. Again, early access to the rules. We got a brand new Spearhead coming as well. Definitely super excited for that, as we have been leaning in on Spearhead lately, and we have a little league going on, and it's definitely been a ton of fun. So more options, more fun. Very cool. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products, including miniatures, terrain, paint, tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. And then moving over to Warhammer the Old World, we have some more of the High Elves coming. So we have the High Elf Lords. High Elf nobles pride themselves on an equal mastery of diplomacy and war. This returning plastic kit contains 2 High Elf Lords, one riding a barded elven steed, and the other on foot carrying a battle standard. So nice looking models right here. We see the optional assembly for the battle standard. So you could either build a Lord on foot or the battle standard. And then of course we have the mounted Lord as well. And then from there we have the Lothern Sea Guard, the Phoenix Guard, and the Sisters of Avelorn. So again, some absolutely beautiful models right here. We see the standard. These are packaged up in groups of 20. Really nice looking models. We have like the musician, the leader, lots and lots of detail. I love the cloaks. I love the kind of like Sea Guard look to them. And then next we have the Phoenix Guard. Nice little classic kit right here. So it looks like these will be packaged up in a brick of 40. So you can build them as 2 separate units. Again, nice looking models right here. Tons and tons of detail. And then finally we have the Sisters of Avelorn. And then optionally they can be built as the Shadow Warriors. So I love the crossbows here. These are absolutely amazing. They definitely look very, very cool. And then we have the option for more of like a scouting type unit where they have the like melee weapons drawn. So very cool and definitely going to help fill out the high elf range. Lothern Sea Guard protect the coastal regions of Ultron and are the first ashore in raids, attacking with bows and spears. This kit can build a unit of 20 and another unit of 15 Lothern Sea Guard, both with full command. Phoenix Guard are indefatigable guardians blessed with a foresight and come in a box of 20 with enough command options for 2 units of 10. Warrior Maidens armed with magical bows, the Sisters of Avelorn protect the ancient forests of their kingdom. The plastic kit can build 10 Sisters of Avelorn or 10 Shadow Warriors. Elves of Nagaroth who turned against the traitor of Melarian and now fight for Ulthuan as nimble skirmishers. So very cool, definitely exciting for the high elf players out there. And next we have the return of the Flamespyre Phoenix. And then also you can build this as the Frostheart Phoenix. So 2 different options from the same kit. One has the rider on top, and then of course like the flame effects, and then the other of course has the frost effects and then no rider. Many phoenixes make their roosts in Ulthuan. Close allies who even allow themselves to be used as lordly mounts. Younger Flamespyre Phoenixes prefer to incinerate their enemies, while the elder Frostheart Phoenixes exude an aura of biting chill that slows their foes in combat. This plastic kit can build one of either type with or without a mounted lord, who can be built on foot instead. So very cool, always an awesome kit, and then repackaged for Warhammer the Old World. And then we also have coming this week, White Dwarf 511, featuring Fulgrim on the cover. The Emperor's Children special issue. This next issue of White Dwarf is turning the access dial up as far as it will go, and then some. There's a feature on the design of painting of Fulgrim, the Demon Primarch of Slaanesh, a hefty dose of narrative, tips on painting the Emperor's Children quickly and effectively, rules for combat patrol that mixes demons and space marines, plus boarding action rules and a battle report. Alongside that, there's a second part of our Eldari design focus. More news from the Mortal Realms in Flashpoint Nashka, and plenty more from the bunker and beyond. Alright, so very cool, a little focus on Emperor's Children. Definitely excited to see that, as I will be painting up my Emperor's Children myself. And then it doesn't specifically say, but it mentions rules for a combat patrol that mixes demons and space marines. So I'm not sure if this is going to be an Emperor's Children themed one, or if this is going to be more of a generic Chaos Space Marine and Demons combat patrol. But definitely looking forward to that. I do love that they've been putting out tons of combat patrols and new spearheads, keeping the game fresh and fun. And then moving over to Black Library, we have Ushoran, Lord of Delusion. The Summer King believes himself a noble king, fit to rule the mortal realms with his flesh-eater courts by his side. The citizens of the Howling Vale have long fought this menace, and now Master Patriarch Kosimir Vonarev pits himself against the ravening abomination. Dale Lucas' novel Ushoran, Mortarch of Delusion will be available for pre-order next week as a limited edition featured gorgeous artwork of the Lord Mask himself with red foil blocking, red gilt edge pages, and red ribbon bookmark. It will be available while stocks last. So very cool. Ushoran, obviously an amazing model. Really looking forward to this story, and I will definitely be after a copy of this myself. And then of course later we'll get the hardback and paperback version. And then we also have the Soulblight Gravelords, Masters of Death. Cursed by the Blood Kiss, the vampires of the Soulblight dynasties command legions of the undead, constantly jostling for power amongst their aristocratic kin. What better way to prepare for the arrival of the Barrow Kingdoms than an anthology of 6 stories? Soulblight Gravelords, Masters of Death is an omnibus of tales by David Annandale, featuring Neferatu, Mortarch of Blood, Neferatu, the Dominion of Bones, a Dynasty of Monsters, The Threshold, Obsidian, and The Dance of Skulls. It will be available for pre-order next week in paperback and ebook formats. So very cool, definitely an exciting week for the Soulblight players out there, and then of course the High Elf players as well, with the new battletome cards and the new box set. I know I personally will be super excited for the Deathrattle Army Set. And then of course all those high elf players of the old world, filling out the range with a bunch more models to get those armies on the table. So let me know what you're most excited about, what you're going to be picking up this week. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products with code WHMS at checkout. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and Adepticon was a ton of fun, but time to get back on the grind. And I'm out of here.